conclusion of my Leep project recorded on my phone camera, due to screencast-o-matic being blocked by the school. So, as any experiment goes, you start with a question. How does composting help reduce waste, and by how much? So, each year, the 50% of all the food that is produced by farmers goes to waste. So, if you think about it, that is quite a large amount. And about every day, the average person produces about 4.5 pounds. 1.5 pounds of which could be either composted or recycled. So, how can this help the environment? Well, for starters, we could do composting instead of putting more waste into landfills, which can pollute groundwater and just cause some pollution to local environments. My hypothesis. By composting every day, we can save about 10 pounds of waste every month. Due to the small size of my composting bucket, I didn't quite reach that amount. By the end of 1 month, I had about 5 pounds of waste, which was pretty significant considering that if I had had a larger bucket to compost in, I would have composted more. So how did I do this? Well, I had a small little waste bucket, and I started off with a small amount of dirt to get the composting started. Every day I would collect some fruit and vegetable waste that would have been thrown away, and I weighed it with my mom's food scale that you can see there on the left, and I put it in the bucket, and after every few days I would take the bucket and I would shake it up to mix up all the dirt and the food together. So, my concerns. I collected waste for a month, and there was quite a lot in the bin, and I wasn't quite sure if it would actually decompose, since in the winter food doesn't really decompose as quick. So, during the coldest months, I didn't see much progress, but once it became spring, it quickly turned to dirt and was decomposed within the first couple months of spring. Although, when I was dumping it out into a pot that I could grow some plants in, the only thing that was still intact was some orange peels. So, I can conclude that those did not decompose very well. I did make progress throughout the month. It's a quite linear line that would increase every single day. So, obviously there's quite a bit of waste that everyone could, not put into landfills if they put in the effort. So, we can obviously see how, this can help. But, how could we have this help large scale? Well, if schools and businesses would have collection bins for food and other decomposable waste, and then they could put them in large-scale composting bins that automatically turn themselves, and then over 4 months they could be turned into fertilizer, which can be used to fertilize crops, which will grow more food. And that would also help eliminate synthetic fertilizers being used. And since this obviously wouldn't save them much money, governments could place tax subsidies on them for producing less waste. So, that's the end of my Leep project. Bye!